Fredric Jameson's Representing Capital, a commentary on Volume 1, provides a deep and insightful engagement with Karl Marx's Capital, Volume 1, offering both a critical examination of its content and an exploration of the broader implications of Marx's work for contemporary thought. Jameson, a leading Marxist literary theorist, brings his considerable intellectual force to bear on Marx's economic theory, focusing on the ways in which Marx's analysis of capitalism can be understood as both a historical narrative and a foundational theoretical framework for understanding modernity. Throughout the text, Jameson deftly moves between the particulars of Marx's analysis and the larger philosophical and historical questions it raises. One of the central themes of Jameson's commentary is the notion of representation, which he uses as a lens through which to understand the various levels of Marx's capital. For Jameson, representation is not just about how capitalism is described or depicted. It is a fundamental issue in the way capitalism operates. In Marx's text, capital is both a material process and an abstract concept, and Jameson is keen to explore how these dual aspects are represented within the narrative of capital. In doing so, he reveals how Marx's analysis of commodities, labor, and capital accumulation functions not only as an economic critique, but also as a reflection on the ways in which capitalism shapes our understanding of the world. Jameson approaches capital as a kind of narrative, suggesting that Marx's account of capitalism is itself a story, one that unfolds over time and space, with characters, the capitalist and the worker, and a plot, the accumulation of capital. This narrative quality of capital is crucial for Jameson, as it allows him to explore the ways in which Marx's work intersects with literary and cultural forms. For Jameson, Marx's description of the capitalist mode of production is not just a dry economic theory. It is a dramatic story of exploitation, alienation, and struggle. By emphasizing the narrative dimension of capital, Jameson connects Marx's critique of political economy with the broader cultural critique that underpins his own work. At the heart of Jameson's reading of Capital is the concept of abstraction. He argues that Marx's theory of value is fundamentally about the abstraction of labor, how the concrete labor performed by individuals is transformed into abstract labor, which in turn becomes the basis for the value of commodities. This abstraction is central to the functioning of capitalism, as it allows for the exchange of commodities on the market. For Jameson, this process of abstraction is not just an economic mechanism. It is a form of alienation that permeates all aspects of life under capitalism. The worker is alienated from the product of their labor, from the process of labor itself, and ultimately from their own humanity. Jameson extends this idea to suggest that abstraction is a key feature of modernity more broadly, as it structures not only economic relations, but also social and cultural life. Jameson also focuses on the concept of reification, which refers to the way in which social relations under capitalism are turned into things, commodities that can be bought and sold. In Marx's analysis, the commodity is the basic unit of capitalism, and its fetishism, where commodities appear to have a life of their own, independent of the labor that produce them, is a crucial aspect of capitalist ideology. Jameson takes this idea further, suggesting that reification extends beyond the economic realm and into the realm of culture and politics. Under capitalism, everything becomes a commodity, from art to politics, to human relationships. This commodification of life is, for Jameson, one of the defining features of modernity, and he uses Marx's analysis to explore how it shapes our understanding of the world. In his commentary, Jameson is particularly interested in the temporal dimension of Marx's analysis. He argues that capital is not just a static description of the capitalist system. It is also a historical account of its development. Marx's theory of history, his notion of historical materialism, suggests that capitalism is not an eternal system, but one that emerged at a particular moment in history and will eventually be replaced by a different mode of production. For Jameson, this historical perspective is crucial for understanding both the nature of capitalism and the possibility of overcoming it. He emphasizes the importance of Marx's dialectical method, which allows for a dynamic understanding of capitalism as a constantly evolving system that contains within it the seeds of its own destruction. One of the most striking aspects of Jameson's reading of Capital is his attention to the contradictions of capitalism. Marx's analysis is built around the idea that capitalism is inherently contradictory. It generates immense wealth, but also widespread poverty. It increases productivity, but also leads to crises of overproduction. And it creates the conditions for its own downfall, even as it appears to be more dominant than ever. Jameson highlights these contradictions, suggesting that they are not just economic problems, but also cultural and ideological ones. He argues that the contradictions of capitalism are reflected in the way we think about the world, in the way we represent reality to ourselves. This, for Jameson, is where Marx's analysis intersects with cultural theory, as it provides a way of understanding how ideology functions under capitalism. Jameson also explores the role of ideology in Marx's analysis, particularly through the concept of commodity fetishism. For Marx, ideology is not just a set of false beliefs. It is a material force that shapes the way we experience the world. Commodity fetishism, where the social relations between people are masked by the relations between things, is one of the key ways in which ideology operates under capitalism. Jameson builds on this idea, suggesting that ideology is not just a distortion of reality, but a necessary part of the capitalist system. It is through ideology that capitalism maintains its grip on society, even in the face of its contradictions. In representing Capital, Jameson is not content to simply restate Marx's arguments. He pushes them in new directions, drawing on his own background in literary and cultural theory to offer fresh insights into Marx's work. He situates Capital within a broader intellectual tradition, connecting it to the work of other thinkers, such as George Lucius, Theodor Adorno, and Walter Benjamin. In doing so, he highlights the ways in which Marx's analysis of capitalism can be seen as part of a larger project of critical theory, one that seeks to understand not only the economic structures of society, but also the cultural and ideological ones.